these two teams are on par. Maybe it's, what, 25% that Legacy can do this?
I kind of actually feel like it's 60-40. 60% for Blank Blue, obviously. Now, there is Kiki in that roster on the off-tank role, so we do have that little aspect to have a look at. Frogger playing here on the Lucio, going to be boosting his team out quite quickly. Not always what you're going to be seeing, but he swapped straight off onto the Mercy. So, Micro signed, actually, the 2 DPS for today. So, looking like we have the exact Blank Blue roster from last season. Let's see if this one goes any better. Yeah,
well, they had a pretty successful regular season in season number 1. Let's see what they can do here up against Legacy. And already Blank Blue starting to I suppose, show us that they're here to win. I don't know, they've got the control. Easy.
That's the power of the Widowmaker, and immediately Carroll Koala swaps off. I'm actually a little surprised to see him start on the Tracer there, to be honest, because we know, we've spoken about it before, Carroll Koala,
so good on the Widow.
Very, very good on the Widowmaker, and this is definitely a matchup that you want to be making full use of that Widowmaker on. So for Legacy, I think he's going to be really the win condition.
Going up against Micro here on the Farah. The Farah versus Farah air battle. Could be tough for sure, up against one of the best Farahs in the region, one might suggest, Jordan.
And just getting work done.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Caramel Koala out there on the Widow, finds Micro. Precisely the type of plays that Legacy need here. Self-destruct going to be sent out. Are we going to find anyone? The answer is no. We're up to 35% already here for Blank Blue.
Yeah, you can see both Signed and Caramel Koala very, very wary of each other, trying to dance around. At the moment, Signed, I still feel, is the one that's getting more work done than Caramel Koala, because predominantly Caramel Koala has been looking for Signed, while Signed has been killing the rest of his team. And Signed is really, I kind of feel like, single-handedly winning this game for Blank Blue. He's just getting picks everywhere.
That's what you like to see. Your Widows doing that is certainly for sure. Already up to 60% here for Blank on the first point of Oasis.
Some ults coming up, though, for Legacy.
Indeed, there are. But
Koala's got the infrasight.
I think, is it going to be enough? One would hope so if you're a Legacy fan. Cinderella takes a bit of damage, but staying strong. You can see, not even having to fight on the point so far is Blank.
Yeah,
Legacy trying to find their way on, but it's been real tough.
Well, Caramel Koala going to be jumped on there by Gob. That's good pressure on him. Tails doesn't have the Mercy backing him up, but he will survive for now. Micro hits the air shot. And I retract my statement. Tails goes down. And not another good start to the fight here for Legacy, but Caramel Koala will be able to trade it back.
Yeah, the only way Micro seems to go down is at the in the sights of Caramel Koala right now. Look, Legacy trying to find their way onto the point. They're doing their best, but Signed, look at this, 1 and 2. Make it 3 if he can.
Well, he got a headshot onto the Winston as well, so I guess that is 3 from 3. But he is having a mammoth of a game right now. Seems like no one on Legacy can stand up to the damage that Signed is doing. And no Umbrella available there for Kiki either, but Micro decides not to throw it out.
He's just waiting. Maybe he doesn't even need it. Wants to find the back line potentially. Well, self-destruct you can hear coming through right now. Cinderella's gone down to Micro. Still that barrage not being thrown out. Caramel Koala's been out, as I say that, actually did go down to barrage. And that should be enough. Micro in a great spot to clean up the support potentially. Sitting here at 99% for so long. But Legacy, surely Blank find the better.
They're trying to bring it back here. Micro's down low. If he gets dropped here, well, there's a chance for Legacy, but he's going to be healed back up again. Caramel Koala still alive, still uncontested for the moment. I think that Legacy's actually got the numbers on this point right now. Cinderella on that Winston, definitely going to be able to put some damage out onto those supports. Caramel Koala finally gets the better of Signed, and that's the change that Legacy needs, isn't it? Signed down.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be enough, Jordan. No, they're barely on the point right now. The overtime ticking away. Hunter going to have to throw out the Transcendence to get onto the point. Blank Blue, I don't know. They're holding in for a very long time here, just trying to keep this at 99%, trying to keep Legacy from bringing it across. The next pick, there we go. That should be enough. Surely, surely with Micro in this position, there's nothing else here that you would think that Legacy can do to win this point.
Every time you think it's over, Legacy manages to find themselves another pick. Caramel Koala is back courtesy of Strawbella, but immediately dropped by Signed. And again, you have to say, surely that's enough. Micro gets the kill onto Strawbella. Now it's just the tanks left alive here for Legacy. But they are keeping it ticking along.
As soon as they're off, it's done though, in like 2 seconds. There we go. Easy. Well, not easy, I guess. But in the end, look at this. 6 players here for Blank on fire.
Well, so that was maybe closer than it looked. I still feel like Signed really dictated the entirety of that game on the Widowmaker. If you're going to allow that to happen, Legacy, then the following few maps are not going to be fun. You know, like if you can get that kind of impact out on a control map on Oasis, which isn't necessarily as conducive to a Widowmaker as something like, for example, King's Row or Temple of Anubis or Route 66, whatever, then you have a very tough ask ahead of you as the rest of this match progresses on. But change up here from both sides, Farah out from both sides. No mercy there for Micro. Oh, no, Frogger's again going to go swapping back off. Really shouldn't get caught by that anymore, should I?
You got to wait, Jordan, until everyone's out and about before you make those kind of calls, because it just makes us look silly, sillier than we normally are.
Caramel Koala straight onto the Tracer once again. Really seems to want to make this hero work.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? Look, first time wasn't successful, swapped off onto the Widow. Blank Blue at least doesn't have a Widow to work with to make Legacy's life tough right now. Caramel Koala still alive, pushing through, doing a bit of damage. The ticks, though, going in the favor of Blank, as Legacy are slowly getting forced off here. They're trying to contest. Sign comes back to life. The hands of Frogger. So will Tails, I suppose. Self-destruct over the top, but Wolf, well, there we go. Pick might be enough. We'll have to wait and see. Blank seems to be getting more picks than Legacy can here, and that should theoretically be enough to get them the point.
Yeah, these fights are so backwards and forwards right now, aren't they? Hunter not really under too much pressure, but the Transcendence is forced by Caramel Koala. That's nice for Legacy, but even still, it's not going to be enough for them to get this point just yet. Sign does have a Pulse Bomb available, looking for an opportunity to use it. At the moment, doesn't really need it, as Blank Blue certainly are winning this fight again. Still, the point has not been capped yet.
That took a long time, Jordan, way longer than one would have thought it. But in the end, Blank Blue are successful. You can see as a result of that fight. They've come out of that
really good as well.
Yeah, exactly. They've got so much ult charge ready to go. Legacy, you saw, we're throwing in their ultimate Cinderella pop Primal Rage there to try, I suppose, push things through. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Maybe bought them a little bit of time, but it's not real time, Jordan, because we keep playing until there's a result here.
Yeah, Tails, Micro having a go at each other once again. Gotta say, I think Micro's been getting the better of this one. It's just, wow, every single air shot, he seems to hit it. He's got that Rocket Barrage available as well, which Tails also has, but unfortunately for Tails, he doesn't really have a team. So I guess he have fallen apart on the point.
Look at this Micro looking for a pick or two up here right now, doing a great job, slowing them down,
Kiki's
finding
stuck in
the
Baby Diva form.
Yeah. Alas, unlucky. Finally cleaned up there by Adam as well. Probably exactly what Kiki wanted. You don't want to be in Baby Diva form, stuck there, being forced to choose between jumping off the edge or going in, swapping your hero back and losing the ult charge. Either way, less than ideal Elfishguy.
Yeah, Sign just waiting around with that Pulse Bomb, being very sneaky, looking to pick onto Zenyatta, and it's not going to happen.
Nope. It's tough though. Micro still sitting on the Rocket Barrage as well.
Yeah, plenty to work with for Blank Blue. Self-destruct there as well. Transcendence will be up shortly for Unta. So this is looking a little bit grim once again for Legacy. They have to win this fight.
Self-destruct comes through, not going to be successful here for Legacy, unfortunately. Kiki trying hard, but falling short, alas. Micro's been picked up by Tails, finally. Finally, Legacy get the better of that Farah battle. But it got all the way up to 94%, probably going to get to 99 here, Jordan, before Legacy even have a look at swapping it across. And even if they do, even if they're successful, even if they can, which they may not, probably going to be too much to ask. Almost 2 hits in a row they're coming out from Micro, who will actually go down. So maybe Legacy brings this back, and if they do, still so much work to be done.
Looks like they're just going to be able to cap it up. But now they're in the perfect position to hold this point because they've got Primal Rage, they've got a Pulse Bomb, Valkyrie's there as well, so Strawbella should be fairly safe in this next fight. Legacy have the tools that they need to hold on to this one. They need to ensure that they're not getting picked off though by Sign with this Pulse Bomb or some other means, Unta with a Fireball. We've seen that before. So Blank Blue, I mean, there's still a real possibility, but Legacy definitely the ones that have the advantage now.
Sign potential here to find an epic Pulse Bomb and sway the favor. Looking up at the Mercy, so tasty but so far away. Pulse Bomb goes through, doesn't happen. Denture's gone down to Unta. Strawbella not really in position to res either. Tails will find both Micro and Adam's mech, so now less than ideal here for Blank on attack, trying to pick this point up. They're looking for the capture, but Legacy may be in the favourable position. Gob comes back to life, self-destruct, won't find anyone. Tails goes down to Adam as well. Blank now with the players. Legacy, maybe they're going to drop this one.
It does look like they are. The majority of the members on that point right now are Blank players. And the fact that Blank wins that fight without using too many ultis or really having any ultis means that now they have some. Self-destruct, Primal Rage, this is not going to be possible for Legacy now. Unless Caramel Koala comes up with a big Pulse Bomb, which has gone awry. He also goes down. The flip is there for Blank Blue. And this should be a 2-0 now, Ben.
Yeah, the Pharmacy, the last to go down here. And Blank Blue will pick up Oasis. But Jordan, Blank playing pretty well. Legacy not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're not seeing enough really from Legacy, are we, though? Like, Signed completely getting the better of Caramel Koala in the Widowmaker, sort of, I mean, it wasn't necessarily always duels, but just in terms of impact, Signed was definitely doing better there. Up in the air, as far as the Pharas were concerned, I thought Tails and Micro were kind of, they both had their moments. I kind of feel like Micro had a little bit better of it though, so there is that. And then the supports for Legacy were really not having a good time. They were getting picked a lot. Strawbella and Dench going down. Even Unta was able to get the kill on the Dench just in that last fight as well, which might have been the tipping point really. So Blank Blue with a 2-0 now. Not altogether a hugely convincing 2-0, but still a 2-0 nonetheless, and one map on the board here for Blank Blue.
I guess my only questions now are, Jordan, you know, what we're seeing here, obviously, this sort of dive tank composition backed up by either the Pharmacy or the snipers and whatnot, and how would that change heading on to some of the, you know, maybe an escort map or something like that when you come and see those shield tanks coming through? Is that something where Legacy is going to have a little bit more success? Because to me, now that I've seen this, I can't help but feel if we do get through to Ilios, it's going to be really hard for Legacy to win that. I don't think they can win the control point.
I don't even know if we're going to get to Ilios.
I don't think we are. I'm just saying that if they've got any advantage, if there's anything here, maybe it's going to be with the shield tanks coming up. In this sort of scenario, they don't seem to have enough when it's brawling up against those players who are, to be fair, so technically talented, right? That's really what this Blank roster are. A lot of young players who are just so good.
Mechanically.
Yeah, just mechanically. Boom, 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 boom. I wish, man. If only. If only.
So I think the question for me is, does Micro have Hanzo in his hero pool? Because if we look to the next map, Eichenwald, Kings Row, both maps where you do typically see the Widow, or the double sniper, I'll just call it, being run. I don't think saw Micro play it last week because Atar was playing and he obviously has been picking up Hanzo for Blank Blue. So if we're going to see Sign playing Widowmaker, then that means that basically Micro has to pick the Hanzo if they're going to go for that strategy. Yeah. And if they can't, we know Legacy can because we've seen Tails on it, we've seen Caramel Koala on it, and they've both done quite well on those two respective DPSs. So that's the next question for me when we get to see this next map.
We've seen a lot of good Pharah play as well on Eichenwald, so whether that comes up or not, that's the real question. Let's throw it up onto the screen. Our map going to be Kings Row, Elfishguy. One would suspect that Blank Blue will want to kick this off on defense.
Yeah.
The real question for me is, how close is this going to be? The potential still for Legacy to bring it back. They picked the map. Maybe it suits them a little bit more than the brawly round we just saw then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They do have a win on Kings Row so far this season. But so too does Blank Blue. So take of that what you will.
It's such a crucial match for both of these teams, really.
Yep.
Blank cannot afford to be losing to teams like Legacy.
Definitely. They're really starting to build a little bit of a rivalry as well after what we saw last season with Blank Blue knocking Legacy down into 3rd place. And subsequently Legacy not being able to go through to the season finals. Though the storyline there was that, oh, if you get 2nd place, you face the Drop Bears.
Yeah.
Which was in theory supposed to be easier.
Yeah, but definitely was not.
Which was not anyway. But even still, what have we got here? Tails on the Hanzo. Caramel Koala will very likely be swapping off onto that Widow as well. No, onto the Zarya.
Well, as you said, Jordan, Micro onto the Hanzo here. Double sniper on defense for Blank Blue. No real surprises. We're going to be holding the high ground here with the Orisa. Seen that time and time again, but Legacy managed to find their way through the lobby and ready now to push out on to the point. Oh, we're going the full way round.
Yeah, they're going the high ground.
Full way round, Jordan.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah. How does this work out? We've only got 4 there. And where is... there's no Widow, though, in this scenario.
There's no Widow sneakily in the spawn.
No.
But Tails is getting some shots into Sign. He's down low, but they can't find the pick. It's so frustrating sometimes when you get the player low, but the kill doesn't come across. Now on the point is Legacy. No kills as of yet. They need the kills if they're going to cap this one up. And Sign, he gets Tails.
Yeah, DPS already going down along with Strawbella, so you would like to think Legacy probably going to fall short on this first push, but it could have been worse. And hey, at least they got round the corner. I'm not sure what their actual plan was, though, once they got all the way through. It's not rugby, Jordan. Yep. You don't pick up the ball and run all the way to the end of phase 3. You actually do need to find the payload to begin with.
Lots to work with, though, for Blank Blue here. They've got Dragon Strike on Micro. Nothing really to combo with it, so he can kind of just throw it out whenever he feels like. But for Legacy, they're going to be waiting for Caramel Koala to get the Graviton Surge up, and that'll probably be when their real committed push is going to go through. That's a nice Dragon Strike, though, from Micro. Completely forces Legacy off, buys a lot of time there for Blank Blue.
Well, yeah, it buys, what, 10 seconds maybe? Look, to be fair, it could have been closer, but it wasn't in the end. They're going to make their way up into the top here. Going to try and head-to-head up on the high ground. And look at that. Orisa going to pick them all up and dump them onto the ground. Dragon Strike coming out from Legacy. Not going to find anyone this time, however.
Forces them out of position, though.
It does indeed. That's going to allow them to push onto the point, but still the high ground controlled by Blank. They've now dropped down. They're going to try and battle this out head-to-head. But Gob looking very low, and already, there you go, Cinderella finds 2 boat tanks going over to the well, not even going to need an Earth Shatter. Throws it out, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit, I don't know. I don't know about that one from Cinderella. I was a bit too keen, I think. Fight looked won already, but Legacy, look, at least they capped that point up. Now they'll have Graviton Surge shortly. It's going to be a matter of how long it takes Tails to build up that Dragon Strike. Blank Blue themselves have swapped onto Oceania as well. So it's just who possesses more Dragon Balls.
Well, that's it. Look, I actually really enjoyed that, Jordan. We saw 2 different plays coming out from Legacy. The first one probably got them 40% of the way there. Almost, but alas, unsuccessful. The second one was successful, even with that Dragon Strike coming through. Maybe a little bit of an early Dragon Strike, perhaps, I think, as well, from Blank in the end. And now they managed to make their way relatively well through. Here's another one.
Eden.
It does get gobbled up, I would suspect, by the D.Va. And talk about getting gobbled up. Kiki finds both the tanks essentially here, Jordan. Legacy have a great run now coming through phase 2.
Definitely would have been a better pun if Gob was the one that was playing D.Va, but unfortunately he's on Reinhardt. Still, Legacy, they've found what they wanted to. Dench also gets Micro as well. A bit of a stagger there for Blank. It means they are going to be unlikely to have a good defense here on this final second point. Micro so far away. Gob, it's going to be on him to really lead this charge, but I'm not so sure it's the best of ideas here. Legacy, they want to find a pick, though, before Micro gets into this fight, and they do. Gob goes down. Now this should be winnable for Legacy.
Like 3 times in a row now, Blank have lost a tank very early on in the battle. Makes life so very tough for them. Adam looks low. Gob is res. Dragon Strike comes out from Legacy, as does the Trance. If anything, this should be enough. Gob trying his darndest here to push them back. Cinderella now low, and Strawbella trying to keep him alive. Not going to be enough. Graviton Surge coming out from Blank. They will eventually be able to win a battle. They haven't won one for about the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, really good counter Transcendence out from Hunter. Keeps his entire team alive. Signed, well, he throws out the Graviton Surge there, which really puts the cherry on the top for Blank Blue, but it does mean that they won't have that available for the combo, the Dragon Ball combo, now that Micro is just about to come up onto the Dragon Strike. So neither side has really been able to make that work so far, but Earth Shatter is there for Gob. Look at this positioning from Micro as well. He's behind them. He'll be a little bit cheeky, see what he can do. And he's just going to rejoin his team.
What do we think about triple tank here for Blank, Jordan?
Well, I don't know if it's necessary at this point, but it does seem to be working. Tails is going to get a couple of picks there, though. Self-destruct is down. Sign definitely evading that one, but I don't know if it's enough. Legacy have already got the numbers.
They certainly do, and Gob goes down. This is going to be real tough right now for Blank to hold off. Maybe they need to drop back. Well, they're not going to get a choice either way. And phase 3 is where we're at. 2.5 minutes to work with. Not all the time in the world, but still nothing to be sneezed at. And I actually think that this has been a pretty good run coming out from Legacy.
Yeah, definitely hasn't been too bad. They've been stalled a couple of times, but they haven't really been stopped just yet. Caramel Koala up to the Graviton Surge shortly, and Tails does have that Dragon Strike ready and waiting. Win condition available for Legacy if they can pull that one off. Same can be said though for Blank Blue. Sign now has the Graviton Surge. Let's see if he's going to throw it out.
Well, it is thrown out. Here's the combination. The Dragon Ball is live. The numbers of deaths is 0, however. That is definitely less than ideal here for Blank. They have nothing now to work with. Kiki, again, will find Gob, and there goes Micro as well. They're in a prime position. They've got their own Dragon Strike available on the back of Tails right now. And Legacy looking so much better with this format here when you've got a payload to work with and a couple of shield tanks.
Oh, look at this. This is an absolutely perfect setup for Legacy. Everyone's caught in that one. Tails is going to get Gob. And no one can get on that point. Unta, he popped the Transcendence early just to try and delay, but
look at that.
When it ends.
There are 5 people as part of that kill, Jordan. Yeah. Four people supporting, 4 with the assists.
You don't see that every day, do you?
No, you don't. So for me, this is where you go back and you compare Blank from this season with Blank from last season. Last season, it was all dive comps, right?
Yeah.
Even in payload games, so often you'd still see Blank choosing to dive. This time around, I don't know what they're going to play on attack, but clearly on defense, it is not working.
Well, I think it's going to be Widow Hanzo on the attack. If I had to take a guess, at the very least, we're going to see the Widow. No reason not to be running that one. Dench, is he going to sit on the Torbjorn? We saw Guzto trolling us with it last week. Come on, Dench. To be fair, Dench actually was the one that played it last time for Legacy against
And how did that go, Jordan?
They held Numbani first for like such a long time. It only just came into overtime. It looked like they were going to pull off some sort of magical defense.
Did they win?
No, they didn't.
Right.
Close, though.
I feel like you're the people in my rank game. We're like, oh, we were so successful the first time around. What we're going to do now, we should pick. We only need to hold out for 3 minutes. Let's go Bastion, and let's go Torb, and let's go Symmetra.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I see.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you're playing in gold. This isn't gold. Not even Platcaster.
Oh, man.
Can't believe it. Anyway.
The BM is real.
Frogger with the Symmetra, Gob with the Sombra. Definitely going to be seeing them. Adam as well on Genji. Look, this is the perfect setup for Blank Blue. It's exactly what you see in all of your ranked games.
It is.
Quad DPS. I mean, it's kind of quintuple DPS now because Sombra's kind of DPS. Anyway.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Oh, well. Legacy, pretty standard defense here, Jordan. Behind the Orisa, going to hold the high ground. No real surprises there. Diva, but no Hog. Who's going to get the first pick? That's the real question. And what's signed? Hello? Hello?
He's just waiting. He's just waiting.
There we go.
Not giving away his position. Looking for that sneaky pick, but he won't be able to get it. You see him just grappling up in the background there. Legacy have already charged up about 45% of the Riptire. So Tails is definitely getting some work done here and might be able to shut down this first push if he can get another couple of little grenades in.
Well, Blank threw a player onto the point behind that Orisa shield, but unfortunately for them, not successful in finding a holdable tick there, not at the full third. This time around, a little bit more successful, but weird because I was going to say Legacy have the player advantage. Yeah, Tail's going to go down, unfortunately, as well. With that Riptire going to force the res coming out from Frogger. This time, much more available. Is it going to be used? Not yet.
Cinderella under pressure, but does get out of there alive. The D-Mech comes across onto Kiki. And now Adam looking to deal with that one, but somehow Kiki manages to get back into the mech. Well, he's back out again, and Adam finally does close out that kill. But here comes the Riptire. You can hear it right now. It needs to be a big one. I don't know if this is going to be enough. He'll be able to get Unta, but that should not be too big of a deal for Blank Blue as they have the players on this point right now, and it's just Caramel Koala left really for Legacy. It's a good quick cap.
Yeah, in that scenario, Jordan, the Orisa Diva didn't seem to be up to the Orisa Hulk challenge. The pick potential there coming out from Adam, you could see was very, very clear.
Definitely doing
successful.
Work.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So, pretty quick 0.1 capture coming out from Blank, and they're going to jump into the payload, see what they can do in phase number 2. They continue in that fashion. Well, not going to be hard.
No real change up from either side just yet. Blank Blue have opted to push forward and ensure that Legacy can't really stage a defense right until that second point, as opposed to having a bit of a chance during the streets phase.
Let's see what Ryan can do here for Cinderella instead of Orisa. See if it's any more successful or not. See who's going to get the first sniper pick here in phase 2. Sign looking to find one. It's actually going to be Micro.
Yeah, but this is opening things up now for Sign. He can go around the back with the Infrasight on. He's going to be able to wreak havoc. Not to mention the fact that there is the Dragon Strike keeping all of Legacy bunched up in a very, very suboptimal position. Micro going to town. What
do you even do with that, Jordan? You've got a Dragon Strike coming through in one side. You've got the Widow on the other. You've got the Hanzo. It's just tough.
It's been a very fast push so far from Blank Blue. They'll cap the second point as well. It's going to give them over 5 minutes to push this final phase. Going to do it in about 3 minutes and 20 seconds to beat Legacy's time. Or less than 3 minutes and 20 seconds, which is definitely doable. Legacy, for their own right, don't really have anything to hold on with, just the self-destruct. Kiki's going to have a big one. Oh, well, he gets two.
Yeah, not half bad, to be honest. Micro, however, going to throw out the Storm Arrows. Probably going to get forced back here and maybe even picked up. Will be picked up there by Dench. Legacy hold on for the moment, but Blank with quite a bit of time to work with. Still 3 minutes.
Not too bad for Blank, really. They didn't invest much in just the Valkyrie, but Hunter's still got Transcendence. Micro has his Dragon Strike available. Gob now deciding that the Arista's not going to work. Adam also swapping off the Roadhog onto Zarya. So Blank Blue opting to change their roster up, and while it might take them a little time to get going here, that's okay.
Earth Shattered, but Dragon Strike comes the other way. Cinderella looking low, potential for all of Legacy to be cleaned up here by Blank, and to be fair, that looks exactly what is going to happen. It's going to be a real tough defense right now. They're going to need to trickle on. I suspect it's going to be too little, too late. Last, maybe 1.5 fights here coming out from Legacy.
Just the Earth Shatter coming out from Legacy there, but it was not enough. Blank Blue had a little bit too much to play with. Now Legacy on their last legs here. They've got one more defense available to them. Dench does get a nice pick onto Micro, and Caramel Koala with the Graviton Surge shortly. Legacy might still be able to hold this one, but it really depends on who can come up onto the ultimates and who can get them at what time.
Getting ever closer to completing phase number 3. Blank, they can get the picks, they'll push through. And it's going to be who gets the ultis first. Well, there's the Graviton Surge coming out from Legacy, but Caramel Koala also low. Nothing to follow it up with. Cinderella looking low as well, but Kiki finds one, Tails finds one. Maybe this is enough to slow down the process.
It is. But in saying that, Blank again didn't put anything in there. Hunter's going to be coming up on the Transcendence shortly. Signed does go down, which will buy a little bit more time for Legacy. Some crucial seconds for Transcendence to come up on Dench and Earthshatter to come up on Cinderella as well. It's actually going to make their next defense look much, much stronger. But in saying that, there is still that big, scary combo that Adam and Micro are going to be able to throw out for Blank Blue. Kiki, if he can eat one of those two abilities, that could be huge. But Dench absolutely needs this Transcendence up.
Gob low, but pushing in the shield. Looking low as well. Going to get the barrier coming out from the Zarya, and you can hear there's the Graviton Surge, the combination. Let's throw all of our ultimates in it at the same time. We'll find two, but maybe that's not enough. Jordan, Legacy actually doing pretty well with the counter ultimates. Blank going to be forced all the way back.
Now you're starting to believe for Legacy, aren't you? Because they're again going to have another favourable fight ahead of them, and considering how much Blank Blue threw into that one, they got absolutely bugger all out of it. And now Caramel Koala does have the Graviton Surge available. Tails has got Dragon Strike, and so it's going to be straight back in the face of Blank Blue.
This time around, right through the middle goes the Dragon Strike only. Finds Micro. Maybe that'll be enough here for Legacy. We'll have to wait and see. Caramel Koala getting low. Stays alive though, supported so strongly there by Strawbella.
This is going to be possible. This is possible. Legacy are coming up on some ultimates again. Earthshatter is there for Cinderella. Gob's just thrown his out. Adam gets the Graviton Surge up soon as well, but Legacy, they have enough to hold on here. And only 1 minute and 34 seconds left for Blank Blue. Well, Legacy have already defended better than what Blank did. Now they have a chance of actually winning the map here and now.
It seemed like so much time on the board for Blank to push through, but now it's getting ever tougher. 90 seconds to work with. That may not be enough here by Blank if Legacy continue in the fashion they have.
Dench 98%. He's going to get the trans.
Oh my goodness, Sign was about to throw out the barrage, but Kiki picks up the kill. So important as the defense.
Well, he did throw out the barrage, Ben. He's gone down to 2% again. So again, Blank Blue, they're just throwing everything into these fights, and at every turn, Legacy is getting the better of them. Dench comes up on the Transcendence at the perfect time. Kiki gets a crucial pick there onto Signed as well. Forces the swap. Now with 50 seconds left on the clock, Blank Blue, they've got nothing to play with. with the exception of the Dragon Strike.
And look, Jordan, if they do complete Phase 3, they're probably going to do it in overtime.
Legacy have got the Dragon Ball combo coming up shortly as well. 91% for Caramel Koala. This is so doable for Legacy. And the self-destruct out from Kiki. It shuts down too. That might be enough.
Oh my goodness, that should be enough to make this very, very difficult. Now, in combination of what you said, the Dragon Ball, Jordan, between Tails and Caramel Koala, with 20 seconds on the clock, Blank Blue forced back. Very little that they can do. At best, they get this in overtime. At worst, Legacy even it up 1 apiece.
Hunter does have the Transcendence. He's going to be critical in this fight. Micro as well with the Dragon Strike needs to find something from nothing. But here we go. This is the final fight. The last chance for Blank Blue.
We throw it through. The Dragon Strike coming out from both sides right now. No kills going down. Cinderella actually the first pick going over to Adam. Maybe this might be enough for Blank to get the payload moving. However, even if they do, Cinderella will come back in time. Caramel Koala goes down
Legacy
as well.
need to reset. They need to
do
reset.
Indeed. They
Cinderella
get one last attempt.
Caramel Koala, they need to wait for Caramel Koala, and then Cinderella needs to get in there, get a good Earth Shatter down before Gob can get his up. That's the win condition right now for Legacy. But it is still winnable here for Blank Blue if they find the picks, and they're in position to do that.
Well, Legacy are on the payload, and so does Blank Blue need to be. They need to stay there. They cannot go anywhere. They cannot afford a half-decent Earth Shatter. Fantastic work coming out from Legacy. You saw it. The Earth Shatter went through, and then he killed the Reinhardt, Jordan. That was it. Great work coming out from Legacy. Great work coming out from Cinderella in the end.
Well,
we
game on our hands.
Yeah, mate. We theorized potentially that maybe when it came down to these payload maps, maybe it would be enough for Legacy to even this up, and now we're 1 apiece.
Yeah, Blank Blue, well, they've suffered what they didn't last season. Legacy being able to finally get that map off Blank Blue that they were looking for so desperately at the end of Season 1. Now they've got it. Now we're at 1 apiece. Maybe this gives Legacy that little bit of buoyancy, that little bit of a feeling like, okay, we can actually do this. Because last season, when we saw Blank Blue get the 4-0 over Legacy, we watched 2 maps before the halftime break that were very, very close. That Legacy, you thought if they could have done one thing a little bit better, had one team fight that really would have changed it, that could have been the difference for that entire series if they would have got that momentum, which they didn't. Blank Blue shut them out in both and then subsequently absolutely destroyed them on the second 2. But now Legacy's at 1 apiece going into halftime. They're not going to be feeling as bad, and in fact the momentum is now in their favor, and they're going to be thinking this is a winnable series for us.
The thing is, in that map, heading in past the first point in the second half, Blank really had the momentum. They just struggled so hard when Legacy had the defender's advantage here. Just a bit too much to ask in the end. And well, 1 apiece heading into half-time. If you're Legacy, you got to be feeling good about that.
Yeah, it was just really good ult economy out from Legacy. They managed a few times to actually make something from nothing as well. Dench really, really good on the Transcendences. Had a few crucial ones that kept his team alive. And somehow Blank with the Graviton Surge, the Dragon Strike and the Rocket Barrage don't get a single kill out of that. So it's just obscene, really. But Legacy have managed to find a way to claw a map out from Blank Blue, and we'll have to see if they can do a little bit better.
Well, we're 1-1, Jordan. I promised a good match, and finally, I'm not a liar. It's Legacy up against Blank Blue. Legacy with a ton of work still to do if they want to come away with a win, but maybe they can start climbing their way to the top of the ladder. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, the second half with all of the action.